You know, there's a plan in motion right now that could literally trigger a financial earthquake. I mean, we're talking about shaking the very foundations of the system that has dominated the world for decades. So let's dive into this story. It all starts with a really mysterious meeting and a proposal that could sideline the US dollar for good.
Okay, so it all kicks off with a bit of a mystery. Picture this. Sergio Gord, who's the U.S. ambassador to India, and importantly, a very close associate of Donald Trump, suddenly makes this urgent, unscheduled trip. And who does he meet? The governor of the Reserve Bank of India. I mean, the entire financial world was buzzing, right? The question on everyone's mind was, what on earth could be so important to need a meeting like this, out of the blue?
All right, so the first guess everyone had was that maybe India was selling off its U.S. government bonds. But honestly, that was kind of old news. The real reason, well, that was way bigger and had been kept completely under wraps.
So what sent the ambassador literally scrambling for a plane ticket? It was a groundbreaking proposal, something just approved by India's central bank. And get this, it's a plan they're about to unveil at the next BRICS summit, a plan that takes direct aim at the US dollar's dominance. And this, right here, is the core of the whole thing.
So what is this big plan? It's basically a revolutionary new way for the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, to pay each other. Think of it like a brand new digital bridge that connects all their economies directly. The goal? To completely cut out the middleman. And the tech that makes all this possible is something called a CBDC.
Okay, so what in the world is a CBDC? It's actually pretty simple. Imagine the cash in your wallet, but in a digital form. It's an official digital version of a country's money, like a digital rupee or a digital yuan. The key thing to remember is this is not some private crypto coin. No, this is issued and backed by the country's own central bank. It's the real deal, just digital.
And here's how it actually works in practice, and this is where it gets really cool. So, let's say an Apple exporter in India sells a big shipment to a buyer in China. Normally, that would involve US dollars, right? Well, not anymore. The Chinese buyer just pays in their digital currency, the e-yuan. And then, bam, this new BRICS system instantly swaps that e-yuan for digital e-rupees and drops it right into the Indian exporter's account. The whole thing takes seconds. But did you catch what's missing? Not a single US dollar was used. It's completely, totally bypassed.
And look, this isn't just about making things a little faster or cheaper. The goals here are absolutely massive. Sure, faster and cheaper payments are great, but the real prize? It's breaking free from being dependent on the US dollar. This gives these nations what's called financial sovereignty. It basically makes them immune to certain kinds of US sanctions. And they're not messing around. Their timeline is super aggressive. They want this whole thing up and running by 2026.
But, a plan this big doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It's actually a direct challenge to a completely different vision for the future of digital money, a vision that's being pushed and pushed hard by the United States.
And this is where the story gets really juicy. What we're witnessing here is nothing less than a battle between two competing visions for the future of money. It's a fundamental clash of economic ideas. In one corner, you've got these state-controlled digital currencies, the CBDCs, and in the other corner, you have privately issued dollar-backed digital tokens. These are two totally different paths for the future of global finance.
This really lays out the two sides perfectly. Okay, on the left, you have the BRICS system. Its whole deal is sovereignty. The central banks call the shots, it operates way outside of US control, and it's built to be immune to sanctions. Now look at the US model on the right. It relies on private companies that issue something called stablecoins. But here's the big catch. Those companies have to follow US laws. And their digital tokens are all backed by US dollars. So kind of ironically, using them actually increases demand for the dollar and keeps the whole system vulnerable to US sanctions and asset freezes.
And India's not being shy about their preference. The deputy governor of their central bank has gone on record saying they see their state-backed CBDCs as the safe alternative. He even explicitly pointed out what they see as major risks with the American stablecoin model.
So you might be asking, why is this such a huge deal for the US? Well, to really get it, we need to take a quick look at why the dollar is so powerful to begin with.
The dollar's power really comes down to four main things. First, there's the network effect. It's just the default currency everyone uses for global trade. Second, you've got the SWIFT system, which is the messaging network for almost all international bank transfers, and it's centered in the US. Third, pricing power. Big commodities like oil and gold, they're all priced in dollars. And finally, it's the world's reserve currency.
That means countries all over the world hold huge amounts of dollars just to keep their own economies stable.
Now here's the kicker. The BRICS plan doesn't just chip away at one of these pillars. No, it creates an entirely parallel system that is designed to bypass all of them at the exact same time. It's its own network, its own payment system, and it massively reduces the need for countries to hold all those dollar reserves.
And that brings us right back to where we started, that mysterious meeting with the U.S. ambassador. Why would a Trump appointee be so personally invested in stopping this whole thing? Well, as it turns out, this story isn't just about geopolitics. It's also about a whole lot of money.
So let's just do a quick refresher on those stablecoins. Remember, these are the digital tokens issued by private companies, and they're pegged to the US dollar. Now here's the absolutely crucial part. For every single digital token they create, the company has to buy and hold an equal amount of real US dollar assets, like US Treasury bonds. You see what that does? It creates this constant, massive demand for US debt, which in turn helps prop up the dollar's value. Okay, now take a look at the big players in the stablecoin market. You've got the giants you'd expect, like Circle and PayPal. But look closer at that third one down, World Liberty Financial. Their coin, USD1, is a newer player, but it's seen absolutely explosive growth. We're talking a $3 billion market cap already. And did you see that little note on the side? Trump-linked?
And here it is, the final critical piece of the puzzle. That company that's growing like a weed, World Liberty Financial, reports say it's 60% owned by the Trump family.
And just like that, the urgent ambassador meeting makes perfect sense. The BRICS plan isn't just some abstract threat to American geopolitical power. No, it's a direct threat to a super lucrative, fast-growing business that the Trump family has a huge personal stake in. The success of stablecoins versus CBDCs isn't just policy, it's directly tied to their financial future.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, this is so much more than just a new payment technology. It's like we're watching a global chessboard, but the new pawns and kings are digital currencies. We could be seeing the world split into two distinct financial camps, one based on national, sovereign control, and the other based on the private US dollar-backed system. And all of this leaves us with one final massive question to think about. Are we witnessing the very first shots of a new kind of financial Cold War? One that won't be fought with armies and tanks, but with algorithms and digital wallets?